व्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत् कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वप्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् आसक्तः स विशिष्यते नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्म ज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर सह यज्ञः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एष वोस्त्विष्टकामधुक् देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्स्यथ इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवाः दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैर्दत्तानप्रदायैभ्यः यो भुङ्क्तेस्तेन एव सः यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तः मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते ते त्वघं पापाः ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात् अन्नात् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यः यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम् तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम् एवं प्रवर्तते चक्रं नानुवर्तयतीह यः अघायुरिन्द्रिया रामः मोघं पार्थ स जीवति यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते नैव तस्य कृतेर्नार्थः नाकृते नेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः तस्मादसक्तः सततं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पूरुषः कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम् आस्थिता जनकादयः लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि यद्यदाचरति श्रेष्ठः तत्तदेवेतरो जनः स यत्प्रम
Hari Om to all. We'll start the Gita Dhyana. We'll do the first and the last verse of Gita Dhyanam. Om Partaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grahitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Mridavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramo Upanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadghatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidussura suraganaha Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha Sarvadharman parityajya Mamekam sharanam vraja Aham tva sarva papebhyaha Mokshayishyami ma shuchaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ श्री महागणपतये नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। So we are now on the final day, talk 7 of Right Action, the Bhagavad Gita way. And it also happens to be today, the Independence Day of the US, July 4th. And it's also going to be hopefully an independence for us with the right knowledge. So we've seen so far every action should be dharmic, meaningful, efficient, freedom. And today our concentration is going to be on happiness. Every action should be should bring happiness to me. So last week we saw about freedom, that every action should give me a sense of freedom. And this can be attained through intelligent self-restraint at the physical level, by developing the art of right contact at the mental level, meaning having optimism, gratitude, and humility, and at the intellectual level, understanding the locus of happiness, who am I, so that whatever be the situation, I can be happy. So this understanding at the intellectual level should translate into abidance, which then becomes our physical personality. Abidance in the fact that I know the locus of happiness and I know who I am. So what do we do today to achieve happiness? It says, if you want to be happy for one day, go to a movie and then to a restaurant. If you want to be happy for 1 week, take a vacation. And if you want to be happy for a month, get married. Just kidding here. If you want to be happy for a year, try to win the lottery. But if you want to be happy all the time, we are in the right place. You have to come to Vedanta. That's the only way we can be happy. Today, what we do is we try to have an arrangement of things around us that will give us happiness. This arrangement of things is called as paristhiti. The arrangement works. For some people, it works longer. For some other people, it works shorter, for a shorter while. And then you have to now work towards the next arrangement of things. So that is how we achieve happiness, moving from one paristhiti, one arrangement to another arrangement. So the things that we actually arrange have been categorized by the rishis into 5 major aspects. So first is location. So I graduate from University of Michigan, finished my bachelor's. My next pursuit to happiness is I want to have a job in downtown Chicago or in downtown New York. I want to live in downtown Chicago, live in downtown New York. So hoping that this location shift will give me happiness. Or I'm a software engineer in the US, in India. I have worked there for 5 years. Now everybody is saying, hey, what's happening to you? You've not gone to US yet. So then you start to work and your pestering your boss for an for an on-site assignment, and you finally land up in the US. So all this we do for, we manipulate the location for our happiness. When we want to buy a house, it's all about location, 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 right? Next, kala or time. So here, so the astrologer tells me, right now Shani is in your house, so just hold off for the next 6 months. All right, don't do any major investment, just go status quo, go with the flow. During this COVID times, a lot of companies have postponed their launches of new products. So we are waiting for the right time. The third one, vastu or objects. We surround ourselves with objects that we like and give away objects that we don't like. We buy a house, car, boat, dress, shoes, latest gadgets. They say the only difference between an adult and the child is in the price tag of the toys, of these objects. Then the fourth thing that we do is vyakti or relationships. So we try to get into relationships that we believe is going to give happiness. So it starts off when you're in school, you have a lot of friends. In fact, these friends are actually friends for a lifetime. They go with you for a very long time. Great. And then you say, I'm now ready to marry. You get married. You have your partner now, a new relationship. You have children. You have a family. The next step in relationships. And then you work hard. And then you're looking forward to your grandchildren. So through relationships, we try to achieve happiness. Kriya or activities. We get into swimming, we get into jogging, we go to the health club, we learn music, we learn dancing. So many different activities apart from our main activities, all of this designed by ourselves to keep us happy. Good, that's how life works. But here, this is where you have to pause a little while and see whether these objects are really getting us. We are actually expecting happiness to last for a lifetime, to last forever. Okay. There are 4 defects in this pursuit of happiness. First one is it's associated with pain. All of us, let's say you're a sportsman or you do a lot of sports, you get bodily injuries, you have muscle pulls. You work as a software engineer, and if you don't work smartly without taking breaks, you could end up with a catch here, with a catch there, carpal tunnel syndrome. You can't move your wrists properly because you've been typing for too long. Every occupation has its own occupational hazards, and you have to watch out. You have to make sure that you manage the pain, you manage the hazards. Associated with temporariness. You get the promotion of your life, okay, but it doesn't last long because another company has taken over and you have to now start the new boss, new environment, ground zero. There are more headaches. You get promotion, or in the same company, you have more responsibility. With more responsibility comes more headaches. So it doesn't last too long. Associated with temporariness, AT. CD causes dependency. In some cases, some of our bad habits can cause very dangerous dependencies, like alcoholic. You could get dependent to alcohol, cigarette smoking. All these things, again, end up with AP associated with pain. Or even being a workaholic. If you don't lead a balanced life, balancing spirituality and balancing materialistic way of living, it's very important to balance these two. Okay, so even a workaholic moving skewed in one direction, you might see yourself dependent on your work and your family life suffering because of that. Dissatisfaction guaranteed. DS, dissatisfaction guaranteed, because the arrangement is temporary. All are the three factors. So these are the four defects, and we have to understand these defects. Okay, and then try to see a solution. And this is what we're going to see today. So the happiness equation, Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda has defined happiness as number of desires fulfilled over number of desires entertained. This is a very unique equation. Usually by increasing the numerator, meaning increasing the number of desires fulfilled, you would expect your happiness to go up. But here it doesn't, because when you fulfill one desire, you get 10 new desires, wherein your denominator is disproportionately increasing and your happiness actually comes down. So the only way to increase your happiness is to reduce the desires entertained and reduce them intelligently. You have to sublimate the desires, not suppress them. You have to understand why these desires are not good for you in the long run. And then in that way, even without going through the process of fulfilling the desire, you sublimate it. It's like I might be in young age attached to a Barbie doll, but that desire just vanishes once I grow up. So instead of going through them, we should sublimate them. So this brings us to the paramount question: where is happiness? Is it in the objects? Today, for all of us, we find it, and we think it's in the objects, it's in the relationships. So let's do a little analysis on this. If happiness is in the object, that object should give me happiness all the time. I buy one car, I should be happy with that car all the time. I buy one dress, I should be happy with it all the time. We know that doesn't work. More of that should give me happiness. Second one. If happiness is in the objects, more of that object should give me happiness. So I buy this white kurta, I should be able to buy this kurta all the time and be happy. Hundreds of this kurtas, white kurta, should give me happy. And I know it doesn't work that way unless you are a sannyasi. For all of us, I need one color this day. And now you have this great, in some places you have this fad where the husband and the wife have to match colors whenever they go out, right? So you have like 30 colors to go with different saris. So more of it also is not going to help. Again, if it is in the object, that object should give happiness to everybody. We know that also doesn't work. So where is the locus of happiness? We are spending an entire lifetime going after things and relationships in the pursuit of happiness. If it comes, the ones I like, I'm happy. If it doesn't, it makes me unhappy. So let us see a little bit on the mechanism of happiness. Before I want an object, let's say I want the latest iPhone, or I'm working on an important project, As I'm working towards the project, there's a lot of challenges. There are a lot of ups and downs. Okay. My mind is nothing but tranquil, nothing but not tranquil. Then after you achieve, so when the project becomes successful, you feel happy. It's great. And then after the project, a bigger project is given to you, a bigger team is given to you, you feel happy, but then with that comes more headaches. So there is headaches before, headaches after. But somewhere in the middle where you get what you want, all the agitations of the mind subside. And your mind at that moment becomes tranquil. This tranquil state of mind is happiness. But in ignorance, we attribute the happiness to the object. So let's look at a little bit more on what is happening when the mind is tranquil. So when the mind is tranquil, you are in touch with your own nature, which is of Sat Chit Ananda. Ananda being bliss. So you're in touch with your own bliss. It is this bliss that gets reflected in our mind, and we feel happy. But we attribute that happiness to the objects. So only if we can master the art of maintaining tranquility in the mind all the time, we have mastered. Which means I should know that my true nature is Sat Chit Ananda. Which means I should know who I am. So we have the power to abide in this tranquility by understanding who am I. And this is moksha or liberation. So now we know the locus of happiness. The locus of happiness is not in objects, is not in relationships. It is my own nature. But today, my own nature, Ashok, is a nature of turmoil. So I have to understand, who am I? Am I Ashok or am I somebody else? So this comes to the million-dollar question, who am I? And here, this is one of the greatest contributions of Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda, where he has created this BMI chart to show us who I am. So today I think of myself to be this body, mind, and intellect. All of us do that. So through the body, I experience the world of objects to become the perceiver. Through the mind, I experience the world of emotions to become the feeler. And through the intellect, I perceive the world of thoughts to become the thinker. So this perceiver, feeler, thinker, in short, is Ashok, the ego. And its V is the vasanas, because of which we have a certain body, mind, and intellect. And this is Atman, the self, the supreme consciousness principle that's there within all of us. So I take myself right now, I operate at this layer, at the body, mind, and intellect. So let us see through logical understanding whether I am this BMI or whether I am somebody else. So the first argument, whatever is mine is not me. This is my phone. It is not me. This is my dog. It is not me. This is my house. It is not me. So whatever is mine is not me. I have the same relationship with this body, mind, and intellect. This is my body. Body is not me. This is my mind. The mind is not me. And this is the intellect. The intellect is not me. These are my vasanas. The vasanas are not me. So beautifully, just a simple argument to show that who I think I am today is really not right. Second one, this BMI is only an instrument through which we operate. Through the body, I experience the world of objects. Through the mind, I experience the world of emotions. Through the intellect, I experience the world of thoughts. It's like a telescope. Through the telescope, I experience the distant stars. The telescope is only an instrument. Telescope is not seeing the stars. Similarly, BMI, this body, mind, and intellect, is only an instrument through which I'm operating. It cannot be me. Then the next one is my famous, I love this explanation. To experience a change, we have to be outside the change. Imagine we are going to India. We are in the plane. The plane is cruising at 30,000 feet, 600 miles per hour. And I am inside the plane. What is my experience when I'm inside the plane? It looks like everything is stationary. It feels as if the plane is not moving, right? Because you're in the change. In order to perceive the movement of the plane, the velocity of the plane, I have to be outside the change, outside the plane, on a changeless substratum or changeless entity. Today, I'm able to experience the changes of my body, the changes in my mind, changes in the intellect. Therefore, I have to be outside of that. And also I know my vasanas. I know the world of objects, emotions, and thoughts. Everything I know. Therefore, I have to be outside of it. And what is outside of it? That I have to be in a changeless substratum. And that changeless substratum is this Om, or this consciousness. One more. The seer and the seen have to be different. I see a green clip. Do I become the green clip? Again, a very simple argument. It's a corollary of the previous one. I see the body, mind, and intellect. Therefore, I have to be different from that. So I'm not any of these. I'm not the vasanas. I'm not the body. I'm not the mind. I'm not the intellect. Then who am I? I am this consciousness principle of the nature of Sat, Chit, Ananda. That is existence, consciousness, and bliss. And bliss actually is infinitude. We'll dwell very shortly on this. Existence, I'm of the nature existence, right? Existence can never become non-existence, non-existent. Therefore, existence is infinite. Consciousness has no birth, has no death. Therefore, it's beyond time. Consciousness has no growth or no decay. Therefore, it is beyond space. Therefore, this consciousness is also the nature of infinity. Existence, consciousness is of the nature of infinity. That is my nature, and infinitude is Ananda. We are all looking for an arrangement that can work. If we can have an arrangement that can work for infinite amount of time, we would be very happy because our own nature is infinitude. To find such an arrangement is a pipe dream. Okay, so I have to understand that I am not this body, mind, and intellect. I am that self, the Atma, which is of the nature of existence, consciousness, infinitude, which is nothing but bliss. So the locus of happiness is me alone. So once I understand this locus is me alone and not in the objects, then I will be a giver of happiness. I will act out of fulfillment rather than to get fulfilled. So whatever comes my way, it's not going to make me more happier or less happier, because the happiness that I'm experiencing is my own nature. The object just creates the tranquility, and at that time, my happiness beams forth. So if I understand who I am, I should be able to operate in an environment of tranquility all the time. So logically, we have shown that happiness is not in the objects. We have shown that I am not this body, mind, and intellect. I am that conscious principle. Now, logic alone is not sufficient. We should also see what the Shruti is saying. Is Shruti reflecting the same thing? So we'll see a few shlokas which support this statement, support this analysis. This shloka is from Living Vedanta, a Prakarana Grantha by Pujya Guruji, Swami Tejomananda. Talks about who I am not. Nahankaro mano buddhihi deho naham kadachana iti vedanta vakyasya bhavaschintyah punah punah. So nahankara mano buddhihi. I am not the ego, I am not the mind, I am not the body, I am not the intellect. I am not the body either. This is the vision of Vedanta, and on this I have to ponder over and over again. So Shruti is also saying the same thing. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the ego. Okay, so if I am not the ego, who am I really? The Shruti for that is Dehadibhyah upadibhyah paratma binna eva saha Satchidananda rupoyam brahma rupas sanatanaha. So the self is distinct from all the conditions, the upadis, like the body, mind, intellect, etc. The self is of the nature of Satchidananda rupoyam, is existence, consciousness, bliss, brahma rupa. It's infinite, it's the truth, sanatanaha, it is eternal. So the self, me, is of the nature of existence, consciousness, and bliss. I am infinite, I am the truth, I am the eternal. So once this understanding is clear, then life becomes very easy to work with. So you also have more of these statements, Vedanta Mahavakyas, Prajnanam Brahman, which means consciousness is Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Tattvamasi, that thou art. I am Atma Brahman. This Atma is Brahman. So we logically proved that I am not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect. And I am that my nature is of that of Sat Chit and Ananda. And you have Shruti also, which reflects the same analysis that you have come to. So when my mind is tranquil, I am in touch with my true nature, which is of the nature of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So with this understanding, if I have an effortless awareness of who I am, carrying right through all the activities can be done in the background of tranquility, in the background of knowing who I am. Today, my effortless awareness of who I am is Ashok. So that knowledge has to change, and I have to have the understanding that I am that Atman, I am the self. So real happiness is knowing that you are happiness. Beautiful quotation from Chandogya Upanishad. Yo vai bhuma tatsukham na alpe sukhamasti. Okay. That which is infinite alone is the source of happiness. There is no happiness in the finite. I think it's a very logical statement. If something is going to be finite, it's only going to give me happiness for a short time. After that, you're going to feel miserable. I got to move to something else. So that which is infinite is the source of happiness. And what is infinite here? Me. I as Atman of the nature of Sat Chit Ananda. I am infinite, and therefore I am the source of happiness. So with that understanding, if I work, you will actually spread happiness to everyone. So we said every action should give me happiness no matter what the result is, right? So whatever be the result, okay, I know that my nature is that of happiness. I know, and that gives me tranquility. And with that tranquility, if I work, then whatever be the result, I will accept. Not that you're going to, be a failure or anything. When things go right, you thank the Lord. When things don't go right, since your mind is tranquil because you know who you are you're alive to the situation, and you will be able to learn from your mistakes. You will develop this art of right contact immediately, very easily, because you will have gratitude, you will have humility, and your mind is available for the moment, and you will understand what are the mistakes that you made, learn from it, get up and move on. It's said that a happy person, a person who knows who he is, has emotions, but he does not get emotional in nature. You will have emotions, but you will not get emotional. So such a person actually works out of fulfillment rather than fulfilled. So every action, whatever be its result, I'm going to be happy because I know who I am. So we will see some Bhagavad Gita shlokas that go with it. Yastvat maratireva syat atmatriptascha manavaha atmanyeva cha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. So the person who knows that he is the self, rejoices in the self, is satisfied with the self, is content in the self. And for such a person, he is exempted from actions, meaning he does not have any more duties. So let's see all what is rejoice, satisfy, and content. All of them look the same. So atmatruptaha, satisfied with the self. So imagine you're really hungry, okay, and then you somebody feeds you a nice uh, 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 a lump sum meal, a wholesome meal, and then you eat it and you are satisfied. That's called atmatruptaha. Atma santushtaha is you're totally contented with the self, meaning you had that, the food example, you had this wonderful food, all right, and now let's say that food was, it had all the dishes that you liked, so that satisfaction turns into total contentment. So that is called as atma santushtaha. Atma ratihi, I'm reveling in the self. Look at this picture here. You have the bear is the supposed to be the goalie, totally reveling in the book, doesn't care where the ball is going, totally reveling in the self. So that's the state of a jnani. That's the state of a person who knows his true nature. And such a person, if he acts, it's only going to be beautiful. And such a jnani has no more duties. That doesn't mean that he is not going to work. Okay, he doesn't have any more duties. So let's see now, why is this sage exempted? Naiva tasya krite nartaha na krite neha kaschana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschid artha vyapashrayah. So for such a person, there is no compulsion to act, or there is no compulsion not to act. And he is not dependent on any object. That shows he is not dependent on any object, meaning the locus of happiness is not in the object. That is clearly reflected in the shloka. So what does it mean, no compulsion to act or not to act? So let's say if I work 1 hour, I get $100. So if I use that $100 to pay off my bills, then I'm in a compulsion to act. Then let us say I don't work that $100 and I miss a payment. So that means I'm in compulsion. I cannot even afford not to act. So that's what that means. So Shankaracharya, who was a great sannyasi, he worked all his life. He wrote commentary upon commentary and commentary. But so such a person is not, even though he doesn't have any duties, he does all his duties out of fulfillment. No matter what the outcome is, he is fulfilled. So next, we'll go to, so the difference between the common and the man and the jnani. Sakta karmanya vidvamsaha yata kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvams tata saktaha chikirshir loka sangraham. So the ignorant ones are attached to their actions, the wise are not. But even the ignorant ones who are attached to their actions, they work with a lot of zeal and enthusiasm. Now, even this jnani, even though he has no happiness in the results of, in the fruits of his action, he doesn't reap any happiness, he works with the same zeal and enthusiasm as an ignorant person or a selfish person. And the reason or the motivation factor why he is working is the welfare of the world. There's a little small joke here. So the patient is going in for a surgery and he is talking with his doctor. So, doctor, I'm really nervous because this is my first surgery that I'm ever going to go through. The doctor said, don't worry. This is also my first surgery. The patient was shocked. What? Yeah, and I'm not worried because it's your leg. So this is not the idea of welfare. The welfare of the world, because the world is your family. Okay. So the welfare of the world is very important to you, as the welfare of family is very important to all of us. So that's a jnani who knows the locus of happiness and who does not have any duties, always reveling in the self, meaning always maintaining the tranquility of the mind. And in that tranquility, he works. The only reason he works is for the welfare of the world. Okay. So this again shows where the locus of happiness is. Indriyasyendriyasyarthe ragadveshau vyavastitau tayornavashama gachet tau hasya paripanthinau. So attachment and aversion to objects are not in the objects. They are in the senses. Again shows where the locus of happiness is. We should not come under their sway, okay, because they are verily our foes. Meaning, if I have good food to eat, don't overeat. We saw the examples of the Huron High student who worked hard, who was eligible to go to Harvard, but he didn't make it. But he was swayed by the situation and he committed suicide. Right? So we have to make sure that we are not under the sway, because happiness is not in the sense objects. So this we have to keep on reflecting on it. First, listen to it. That is called Shravanam. And then you reflect on it. Make this your own knowledge. What? That happiness is not in the objects. It is me, in me. And who am I? I am that Atman. So this I have to reflect. We gave you pointers on how to reflect on this. And once that knowledge becomes your knowledge, then you meditate upon it. In the silence of meditation, you assert that I am not this body, mind, and intellect. I am that Supreme Brahman. Because for births together, we have been identifying ourselves with this body, mind, and intellect. And that vasana, which is called as anatma vasana, is very strong. Unless you have a very pure mind, Shravanam alone will not help. You need to have niditya, mananam and nidityasanam to help break that vasana. So here, basically, we've completed now all the 5 aspects of right action. So we will do a quick review and then end it. So our key shloka, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 248, the key elements are shown here. Always stay focused on the goal. Perform action without attachment. This word attachment, I think I've told you before, I think it's come like 80 plus times in Bhagavad Gita. Shows the importance of attachment. What is attachment? Attachment is I plus X. With X, I'm happy. Without X, I'm sad. So perform action without attachment. And now we have a very good tool in our pocket to help us act without attachment. Because I know happiness is not coming from the object. Happiness is my own true nature. I know that I am not Ashok, and therefore the demands of Ashok are not mine. So it's like this. There is a distance between Ashok and his friend. Whatever happens to his friend doesn't affect Ashok that much. He will sympathize, he will show emotions, but he is not going to be emotional. Okay, so you can create that same distance between you, I should create that same distance between me and Ashok. And this knowledge, what we saw today, the locus of happiness is my own nature. That knowledge helps to create this distance. And once that knowledge becomes wisdom, then we can actually perform our action without attachment. So you start off, you don't have to wait for that knowledge to dawn. You can go side by side and you start building the Atma Vasana slowly. And as the Atma Vasana strengthens, your attachment will de-strengthen. Maintain equanimity while facing success and failure. Siddha Siddhyo Samo Bhutva. Same thing here. If I know the locus of happiness, I can maintain equanimity. Samatvam Yoga Uchyate is achieved by knowing that I am Brahman. There is no other way you can achieve it. You can temporarily achieve it, but then it will come back again and again, you will get disturbed. So we saw every action has to be dharmic. So he said, Navikampitu marhasi, do not waver to perform your duty. Dharmyat hi udyat shreyaha. For a Kshatriya, there is nothing greater than a righteous war. O Arjuna, this is your opportunity. Exhaust your vasanas. Then perform action that is right for you. Like Sri Krishna glorified Jnana Yoga in the second chapter, and Arjuna's thought that Jnana Yoga is better than Karma Yoga, and asks Lord Krishna, why are you asking me to fight? So you have to be qualified to be in the path of Jnana Yoga. So you perform Karma Yoga and you purify your mind, and then you go into Jnana Yoga. So neither by non-performance of action or by mere renunciation, the highest goal can be achieved. Okay, so you cannot achieve the highest goal without the performance of action. Our gunas in Shloka 3.5 will force us to act. That's what it says. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi. Not even for a moment can be, even if we don't want to act, can we be without acting, because our gunas will force us to act. So in Shloka 3.8 says, you perform your bounden duty. You perform your nitya karma, naimittika karma, and then you avoid sakama karma and nishiddha karma is you have to avoid. So you have to do your duty. So every action has to be dharmic, meaning you have to do your swadharma, it has to be righteous, and more importantly, bring about integration in the society. Every action has to be meaningful. Yayate manasas maran indriyartan. Okay, let not the mind wander thinking about the sense objects. Integrate the mind and intellect and work. Because once your mind starts wandering, your efficiency comes down. Keeping your senses in 3.7, we saw the important concept of karanatva bhava. Make yourself the instrument of the Lord. When you make yourself the instrument of the Lord, you are not distracted by the end result or the fruits of the action. Okay. So whatever is his wish is your wish. His power acts through you. You are just an instrument. So this Karanatva Bhava is a bridge between Kartritva Bhava and the between Karta and Akarta. Therefore, it helps you to perform your actions without ego and egocentric desires. So when you perform your actions without ego and egocentric desires, existing vasanas are exhausted, no new vasanas are created, the pressure of vasanas in the mind is reduced, lesser the pressure of the vasanas, lesser are you going to be extroverted, the lesser that you're going to be extroverted, lesser is the agitation caused in the mind by desires. And such a mind is available to do the work in a meaningful manner and thus bring about excellent results. And then we talked very much in length about the glory of Yajna spirit or team spirit. Anything which we do in the spirit of Yajna, in team spirit, will not bind us. Meaning, it will not create new desires in us and new vasanas in us. And at the same time, it will existing vasanas will be burnt off. And we saw in length the beauty of that. Then, from a cosmic perspective of Yajna spirit, we talked about that is when Yajna spirit is the only way, is the milk cow of your desire. So when the Creator created human being, he gave Yajna spirit as a parting gift with which you shall nourish, was his blessing. So it's a commitment to and from God. Parasparam bhavayantaha. Okay. So I nourish the nature, nature nourishes me. That is guarantee. And then in Shloka 3:12, it talked about thieving redefined. When you nourish the nature, actually, dasyante, the nature nourishes you like a dasa, like how a faithful worker serves his master. But in spite of that, if I am in a position where I have the responsibility to distribute the Yajna Prasad, the results of the action of the entire team, and in that process, if I take more than what I deserve, or if actually the whole Yajna Prasad is divided equally, and if I actually take more than others, Krishna calls me as a thief. You don't want that. And then in Shloka 3:13, sin redefined. So anything which is not done in the team spirit or in Yajna spirit will create agitations. And when agitation gets created, you cannot work properly. Then we saw how a role model of a society, Shrestha Purusha, should behave. They have a responsibility because the way they behave, the examples they set, people are going to follow, the followers are going to follow them. So a role model has a responsibility, behave responsibly. And in fact, we saw in that discussion that everybody is a role model because there is one person or the other that's looking up to you. You may not even know that there is a person. So this actually gives me the inspiration to work properly in society. And how to introduce change? I have to introduce change without creating too much of confusion. A Shrestha Purusha should introduce change without creating too much of confusion in the society. Then we saw every action has to be efficient. So we have the right to act but not to the result. Karmanye vadikaste ma phaleshu kadachana. The right to act and not to the result. So if we follow this, then the result will not distract us. And we saw the famous um, channels through which energy gets leaked out. And then the same thing in 327, it talks about how doership arises. Okay, so when there is doership, like it is my hands that are doing it, the legs that are moving, eyes that are seeing, but I take ownership and I say that I am doing. This is how doership gets arise. So when there is doership, there is enjoyership. When there is enjoyership, there is attachment. And then in 328, we saw how the knower of truth is not attached. Means what is that knower of truth is what we talked about today. Knowing the locus of our happiness, knowing that I am not Ashok, knowing that I am Brahman. And in 330, the entire efficiency model was defined, that energy gets leaked out in 3 channels of dissipation: in the anxieties of the imagined future, in the regrets of the dead past, and feverish excitement in the present. So we have to ensure all this is happening because of attachment. And now we know how to manage attachment. So every action has to give me a sense of freedom. Are we victims of our vasanas? Sometimes we are, and we feel very miserable when we know that we should not do something, but we end up doing it. And why do we commit sin? It's because of desire. We have a desire out of which anger, frustration, disappointment, dejection, everything comes in. The example of that Huron High student, right? So how do we handle this? How do we handle this? And we saw the hierarchy of winning our vasanas in 342 is whatever you do at the physical level, then whatever you do at the mind level is more superior than what you do in the physical level, and whatever you do in the intellectual level is more superior than the mind level. And we saw at the physical level, we have to exercise intelligent self-restraint. At the mind level, we have to develop the art of right contact. We have to develop optimism. We have to develop humility. We have to develop gratitude. And then at the intellect level, I have to know who the locus of happiness, who I am, abide in that, and that becomes my spiritual personality. And from that level, if I operate, I will always be free. Then today we saw about what is happiness. In 317, Jnani is a Atmaratihi. He has no duties. I'll go through real quick here. He has no compulsion to act because he is independent of the fruits of the action, and he works for the welfare of the world. He is selfless, and happiness is not in the objects, so do not come under their sway. So this completes right action the Bhagavad Gita way. Every action has to be dharmic. Every action has to be meaningful. Every action has to be efficient. Every action should give us a sense of freedom, and every action should bring happiness, whatever be the result. So I'll quickly go through this. What next? So how do we go from here? How do we go there? Right. So you have the 20-20-20 program. So every day, try to spend 20 minutes in reading, which is called a Shravanam. 20 minutes, whatever you read, you reflect upon it. So that reflection creates that knowledge that you have gained through reading into wisdom, mananam, and it makes it, it actually, you're able to read it and buy into what Vedanta is saying. And then 20 minutes in meditating. So you meditate on what you have read and reflected, you meditate upon it so that whatever information that you have read, for example, happiness is not in the objects. I am not the body, mind, and intellect. When I start to meditate upon it, the knowledge percolates into the deeper layers of my personality and knowledge becomes wisdom. So this is what you can do. This is a great program. And as you evolve, you can increase the mananam time, increase the nididhyasanam time. And once you increase mananam, you increase the shravanam time. And if you increase shravanam, you have to increase mananam. So you give more time to the study of the scriptures and making that knowledge your own. And karma yoga, hand in hand, we've seen how to act. So you can so spirituality is not just in this 2020 program. Spirituality is something that you carry through in every action of yours. So that is why right action, the Bhagavad Gita way. So I want to also share here during the fall some of the Vedanta classes that I'm taking. So there'll be 2 classes that will start. One is for the Vedanta class 1 is Bhajagovindam on Sundays from 11 to 12:15 p.m. It's in a house in Farmington Hills, but till we get over the social distancing, it'll be on Zoom. And Vedanta class 2 is for little advanced sadhaks, and we're going to do Sad Darshanam on Sundays from 3 to 4:15 p.m. in Northville. And the same thing is also done by, and this another one more slide. And we have chanting and meditation through Zoom that goes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6 to 6:45 a.m. starting fall. And then on Mondays, Sanskrit level 1 and Sanskrit level 2. So if you would like to take advantages of this, you can contact me at ashok_grandhee@yahoo.com or WhatsApp. Here's the phone number. I'll give it to you. And I would like to also tell you that the same thing is done by Sunita Grandhee, my wife, in the Troy area. The schedule is almost similar. So if you want more information, this is the place to contact. So at this point, my Hari Om to the entire Guru Parampara for making this happen, for giving me the knowledge and for having us all together. And my thanks to the Balaji Temple, the Great Lakes Balaji Temple, for hosting this event, especially Satish ji, who has been running these Zoom sessions so effectively. And we've worked as a team with the spirit of Yajna spirit to work through the issues. And my very big thanks to Sridhar ji, who made this happen. You know, his vision for Sanatana Dharma to reach out to the maximum number of people, this is one of the ways. So I thank them both from the bottom of my heart. And I thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to share this knowledge. Hari Om and Pranams. So now I will pass it over to Satish ji, who will wrap it up.
Thank you, Ashok ji. Hari Om. First of all, it's very emotional. I know you don't want us to be, if you have to express emotions, but not to be emotional. But to think that on Saturdays between 11 to 12, we would be, this particular hour would be empty is, hopefully we'll be doing the Shravanam, meditating all your lectures and thoughts. I was asked by Sridhar ji and also the Great Lakes of Balaji Temple to thank you. If participants can stay on for a few minutes, I would like to give on the behalf of Balaji Temple of Great Lakes, I do want to thank Shri Ashok ji for providing us an amazing series of lectures to live a right life. They say Guru, Acharya, dispels darkness and ignorance. On the day of Guru Purnima today, I know today is July 4th, but there is also today is a Guru Purnima day. I would like us to all collectively to jointly do a namaskaram to this Ashok ji for providing us an amazing lecture and insights to live a right life. And also to Sunita ji for supporting Ashok ji to do this on for the last 7 weeks. It is a tradition of Balaji temple to honor the artists, the intellectuals, and the acharyas. On behalf of the temple, I would like to invite Shri Ashok ji and Sunita ji to the temple for a formal prasadam of Sri Perumal and Thayars, and also felicitation by the temple committee. So please do visit at your leisure to the temple.
Thank you.
Finally, a couple of quick announcements. The temple is open, so we are maintaining social distancing. So at your convenience, please do come to the temple. And also, I was told by Sri Sunita ji is also planning to start a similar lecture series in 3 weeks. So we will post those details as well. And then finally, thank you. And all these videos that we have been recording will be posted here to this WhatsApp, or you could always find it on YouTube or Facebook page of Sri Balaji Temple of Great Lakes. Thank you again, Ashok ji. We'll stay in touch. Hari Om. Namaste.
Hari Om, and thank you very much, Satish ji.
Namaste. Bye.
So we'll just conclude this with Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Now you can end, Satish ji.